Here we have a SAT math question. Okay, let's go with the information. At a school, there is one math teacher for every 10 students, one English teacher for every 15 students, and one science teacher for every 30 students. If the total number of math, science, and English teachers is K, how many students are there at the school in terms of K? So we have to find the number of students at the school in terms of K. Since we have to find the number of students at the school, let me assume yes as the number of students at the school. Okay, now let me write the stuff over here. Number of students at the school. Okay, let me write it. Since we have assumed S as a number of students at the school, we have to find the value of S in terms of K. So that is the number of students at the school in terms of K. So for that, what we have to do is we have to find the number of teachers in each category. That is, we have to find the number of math teachers, number of English teachers, and number of science teachers for this S number of students. Okay, just one example, I assume there are 50 students at the school. Then how many math teachers should be there for these 50 students? According to the information, there is one math teacher for every 10 students. Then how many math teachers should be there for 50 students? It's very simple, it's just 5. Then how can we get this answer 5? So for that, we have to divide the total number of students, 50, by the number of students for whom there is one math teacher, that is 10. When I divide this 50 by 10, I'm getting 5. So the 5 is the number of math teachers are there for 50 students. But instead of 50, we have S, because that's what we have to find, the number of students. Okay, now to find the number of math teachers, what I have to do is I have to divide the number of students at the school by the number of students for whom there is one math teacher, that is 10. So this S over 10 represents a number of math teachers we have for S number of students at the school. So we can use the same logic to get the number of English teachers and science teachers as well. Okay, now to get the number of English teachers for this S number of students, what I have to do is I have to divide the number of students S by the number of students for whom there is one English teacher, that is 15. We have to divide this 15. Now this S over 15 gives the number of English teachers for S number of students at the school. Now let's divide this S by this 30. So because this 30 represents the number of students for whom there is one science teachers. Okay, now we got the number of math teachers, number of English teachers, number of science teachers for this S number of students. When I add them all, I am getting the total number of teachers at the school according to the information. So the total number of teachers at the school is K. So it has to be equal to K. Now we have to solve for S in this equation in terms of K. So for that, we have to add the three fractions we have on the left side over here. So for that, we have to get the least common multiple of these three numbers, 10, 15, and 30. So let me do it over here, 10, 15, 30. So what is the greatest common divisor for all these three numbers? That is 5. So when I divide this 10 by 5, I'm getting 2. When I divide this 15 by 5, I'm getting 3. When I divide this 30 by 5, I'm getting 6. Now, is there any greatest common divisor for all the three numbers over here? No, there is no greatest common divisor for all the three numbers other than 1. And is there any greatest common divisor at least for two numbers? Yes, it is, because for 6 and 3 we have 3, or we can consider for 2 and 6 we have 2. Okay, now let me consider this 2 and 6. The greatest common divisor for this 2 and 6 is just 2. Let me divide it by 2. When I divide this 2 by 2, I'm just getting 1. This 3 is not divisible by 2. We have to write this 3 as it is. When I divide this 6 by 2, I'm getting 3. Now there is no common divisor for all the three numbers other than 1. But for these two numbers, I have the greatest common divisor 3. So let me divide it by 3. This 1 is not divisible by 3. So I have to write this 1 as it is. When I divide this 3 by 3, I'm getting 1. When I divide this 3 by 3, I'm getting 1. Now, there is no common divisor, greatest common divisor for all these three numbers other than 1. Even for at least two numbers, there is no greatest common divisor other than 1. Now, we have to stop the process and we have to multiply the numbers I circle. So, this one, this one, this one. When I multiply 5 and 2, I'm getting 10. 10 times 3 is 30. When I multiply 30 by 1, I'm getting 30. Again, when I multiply this 30 by this one, still I'm getting 30. So the least common multiple of these three denominators, 10, 15, and 30 is just 30. So that is we have to make each denominator as 30. So for that, I have to multiply the numerator and denominator of the first fraction by 3. Then I'm getting 3s over 30. I have to multiply the numerator and denominator of the second fraction by 2. Then I'm getting 2s over 30. Now we can keep the third fraction as it is because already we have 30 as denominator equals to k. Okay, now we have the common denominator 30. So now what we can do is we can take the denominator 30 in common. We have to add the numerators, and I'm getting 3s positive, 2s positive, 1s equals to k. Okay, so now when we add 3 years and 2 years, I'm getting 5 years. When I add 5 years and 1 years, I'm getting 6 years. Then I'm getting 6 years over 30 equals to K. So here 6 goes into 6 one time, 6 goes into 35 times. I'm getting S over 5 equals to K. My aim is to solve for S in terms of K. For that, I have to get up this denominator 5 over here. So for that, I have to multiply both sides by 5. When I do so, this 5 will cancel out. Then S equals to K times 5 can be written as 5K. So we know that S represents the number of students at the school. Now we have find the number of students at the school in terms of K. That is, the number of students at the school is 5K. We find this 5K in answer choice C. So the correct answer choice for this question is C, 5K.